0. Hold him like that.
We at the Bitter Birds are delighted to introduce a new member to our team. We have a new mascot. We looked near and far to find the perfect one. We broke down all the top prospects. We spent countless hours studying the tape, logging 40 times, shuttle runs, but we finally found the one. So without further ado, weighing in at a not-so-chiseled 22 pounds, hailing from Warrington, Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen, number 00, Mr. Pug Peterson.
Dun 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 dun. There he is. Oh, say hi, Mr. Pug Peterson. You like the Eagles? Yeah, I do. I love the Eagles. Oh, there he is, our new mascot. How cute is he?
Oh, Mr. Pug Peterson, welcome to the team.
Oh, he has no comment. He's just overwhelmed with excitement. Seems like, you got to feed this guy, to meet his weight. There you go. Yeah, he's got to get nice and beefy for the for his performance.
Oh, man. Hey, we got a new mascot. It's awesome. Mike Owens, Jeremy Burton, I'm Adrian Fett. You've got a lot here on the show to talk about today. And we'll start with, we extended a pair of tight ends. We got Zach Ertz locked up. We have Brent Celek locked up for another 3 years. So, initial thoughts on the signings?
Yeah, well, I mean, really, with Ertz signing broke a few days ago, and then Celek was the next day. The Eagles really wasted no time in locking up their tight ends here, and the reason they did that is because Doug Peterson and the type of offense that he's going to run, it's really going to focus on the tight ends, and Ertz is really going to be the focal point of the offense here in Philadelphia with Peterson at the helm. So it was really key for the Eagles to lock up Ertz, but when the Eagles locked up Ertz, there was speculation right away if Celek was even going to be able to stay in Philadelphia because of his cap number. It was about a $5 million hit before Celek signed his extension. So by doing that, it lowered Celek's cap number a little bit this year, helped out the Eagles, and he's going to be here for 3 more years. So now we've got Celek and Ertz here in the fold in Philadelphia, at least for another 3 years together.
You can't ask for 2 more just class act, absolute Philadelphia Eagle team players. They know the city. They love the city. They want to play here. I get excited with the quotes I hear from these guys, just like Ertz is like, I want to finish my career here. I want to leave a legacy here, like the Tony Gonzalez's and all those great tight ends. So you got to feel for feel happy for the guy. And Celek, he took Ertz under his wing. Celek had no problem taking a back seat to the younger, more athletic, tight end and prospect than Ertz, and being more of a blocker this year. So, he's just the ultimate team guy, and Celek is a great leader in the clubhouse as well. I mean, I couldn't be happier.
Sing it with me, guys. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Yeah. All right, but anyway, I kind of hate saying this because I love Zachary. I love him. He's been one of my favorites, and maybe my expectations of him are just a little too high. But at this point, I think he's just a little slightly overrated by Eagles fans. I'm saying that because of this, because on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of people think that he's a top 5 tight end in the league. I don't really see it. Somebody was debating me that Travis Kelce is just as good in it. He's just as good as Travis Kelce. I don't see that either. Here's my argument. If he was a great upper echelon elite tight end in this league, look at what Greg Olson's doing in Carolina. Similar situation with our receiving corps. And Olson, at times, puts that team on his back. He carries that receiving core. That's what I want to see from Zach Ertz. I want to see him take that next leap. You know, last year was supposed to be his breakout year. This year was supposed to be his breakout year. He still hasn't broken into that elite category yet. And that's my thing with him. That's it. I love him other than that, but I want to see more. I have the bar set so high for him. He oozes with potential, and I just want to see it. I want to see it all come to fruition next season.
Yeah, well, I think that it will. I think that, you know, you're right. The way you feel is probably because, you know, coming into this season, we really expected a lot from Ertz. And the injury, you know, right before the season started, really set him back a lot. So he really didn't, you know, get back to full health, maybe halfway through the season, maybe even a little bit more than that. And then you kind of saw the last 4 games here in the regular season. He really picked it up. You know, put up outstanding numbers, over 400 yards receiving. The one thing that was a little bit of a concern is the drops, and that's something that he has to work on going forward because he was dropping some key passes. But, you know, heading into next season, you know, you definitely have a lot of potential with Ertz. He's still a young guy, so he's got plenty of time and to develop. But, yeah, I think that, you know, hopefully next season he can get into that top 5 categories in the tight ends. But I think that he's going to get there. Really what we need next year from Ertz is an increase in his touchdowns. That's where we really got to see him improve because he didn't catch many touchdowns this year. So next season, you know, I'm looking for hopefully at least 6 touchdowns from him.
Yeah, I mean, he can always hit the jug machine and work on those drops a little bit. It's interesting, actually, Celek had 1 more touchdown than Ertz this past year. That shows you how much Ertz's touchdown total was down. He only had 2, Celek had 3. But like Celek had less than half the yardage. And like Mike said, he had those final 4 games. He really turned it on, put up it was like kind of a historic stretch amongst other like tight ends that have done it before, over 450 yards in just a handful of games. And I definitely think he can reach his ceiling and break through it. Like in 22 Jump Street, there you go, ceiling, and you break through it. You know, there's your ceiling. A la Channing Tatum. But I'm not really worried, and I'm happy that Doug Peterson seems to use his tight ends a lot. You see Travis Kelce, what he did in Kansas City. So I think he's gonna, like Adrian said with the Greg Olsen thing, that offense kind of, he can take over a game. The offense revolves like around Greg Olsen as their best pass catcher. I think Ertz can become that best pass catcher and best weapon through the receiving game on our team in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe we'll see. I definitely think he oozes the potential, like I was saying. And now this is where you guys are really going to hate me, because I know he had like a bunch of stats at the end of the year. I thought they were a little bit empty stats, just a little bit. He caught a lot of 10-yard stop routes, and against Washington, for example, he had like 13 catches for 122 yards, a lot of stop routes, a lot of easy stuff. It's just kind of check down kind of stuff. If you catch a 10-yard stop route wide open, every tight end should be able to do that. And the other thing in that game is, I believe he fumbled the ball at one point in that game. So I'm being harsh on him. I know, but I love him. It's all in good love. It's tough love. It's tough Philly love. And I have the expectations for him are so high that's why I'm coming across harsh, because I think he can become a really good tight end in this league. But there's a lot of good up and coming tight ends coming up too. Tyler Eifert, you got Travis Kelce, like we mentioned. Jordan Reed's up there. He's off and on injured all the time. So there's a good crop of young tight ends coming up in this league.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely fair to be a little bit harsh on Ertz because, he hasn't lived up to his full potential yet. But, I will say this, and this is, part of the reason why I bought my Zach Ertz jersey is because, this guy, a lot like Celek, they're going to go out there every game and they're going to give it everything they have. And a great example of this is in the Bills game this year. It was late in the fourth quarter, and, Ertz, he caught a short pass out on the flat, and he just steamrolled over a few Bills defenders, and it was a key moment in the game because it actually helped us win that game. So, that's the things that you see with Ertz, and, that dedication and that hustle. Those are things that you can't teach. So I think that Ertz is going to get there, this in 2016.
And you see tight ends more and more involved in offenses now, it seems, than the olden days, especially as like dynamic pass catchers. And he does impose a matchup problem for the defense. I mean, you look at the sheer size and strength of the man, and same thing with Celek. He's no shrimp either. So I think we'll utilize different 1, 2, 3 tight end sets, and I think Peterson will do a good job in putting his players in a position to succeed.
Okay, Andy.
Whereas our previous coach just kind of thought he could plug anybody anywhere, and you see what happened to him. He went by.
Oh, we all know your love for Chip Kelly. You just love him so much. All right, this is where I want to get to Ertz and his blocking, because obviously tight end played tight end. Well, half of your job is to block as well. Blocking was not a strength of his coming into the pro game. I think he's made a lot of positive strides in the run blocking game. I still think he struggles in pass protection, but that's why I love the Celek signing, because Celek, he's great in pass protection. So what do you guys think of his improvement as a blocker?
Yeah, well, Ertz, he really worked on the blocking heading into this previous season, and I think that he's going to continue to work on it because obviously, that's not the strength of his game. But like you were saying, it's that's why the Celek signing kind of goes under the radar, but it's kind of a key signing because Celek is really known for his blocking. That's what he's here to do. So if you're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, it's going to help if you have the guy that can block and a guy that can go out and catch passes. So it was really key being able to keep Celek here too. And then even if we do 3 tight ends this year, people forget about Trey Burton, but Burton is mostly a special teams guy. The long lost cousin there to Jeremy, but Burton, he's like a hybrid type of guy, so he can do a lot of things. So yeah, so really having both Celek and Ertz back is key.
Burton got a couple touchdowns in the preseason last year, but mark my words, he will have a regular season touchdown this year. They will use him, and in the red zone, a nice little 5-yard touchdown, little across the field, perfect. But as a blocker, Ertz has come a long way since he was a rookie. He has improved, and part of that big reason is, like Mike said, is because of Brent Celek, and he's just he wants to be. He even said it, quoted as saying he wants to be a leader to the young guys, and just all he wants to do is win, and it's great. I couldn't ask for a better tandem, and and Celek is taking him under his wing, and totally fine with losing snaps to him, but he's teaching him how to block. He's improved in his run blocking. Probably needs a little more work on the pass protection, but he's getting there. You got to give him time. He only had 3 years in the league so far, so I think he'll come around and improve.
Yeah. All right, just switching really quick subjects to this. Well, unfortunately, these extensions are showing who is in charge in the Eagles front office. There have been rumors about hiring a personnel man. Well, if this personnel man was going to be higher than Howie up in the food chain, then they would have brought this guy in already. Because you're not going to be signing guys to extensions without this guy's approval. So, in my opinion, Howie is clearly in charge, and I hate it.
Yeah, this is one of the things where, like, if I was Peterson, I would give the taser gun to Jim Schwartz. I would give him the taser gun, and I would say, all right, listen, Schwartz. So the draft is coming up and everything, and then you get all the guys in the draft room. Schwartz has a taser gun. If Roseman even attempts to enter that draft room, taser him right away. Don't even let him get anywhere close to that draft room. Roseman, I'll say this. I will give respect to Roseman because he does a good job with the cap, and that is seen with these extensions with Ertz and Celek. They are very cap friendly. So that's one thing that we know Roseman can do. But when Roseman starts to get, he's starting to get his confidence back because now he's back, he's in charge, so he's feeling great about himself. So we can't let him get too confident. That's why we need to get that taser gun out.
You're right. I will give him the cap thing. He's good with money. He's a little dweeb that sits in a room and calculates and figures out how to save us some money in the long run and looks makes these cap friendly contract extensions, which is great. He can do that. Yeah, I mean, what else can we say? We just we have to pray when it comes to in April when we're drafting, and we have to pray that he doesn't mess it up and we don't have a 2011 draft repeat. Reports say he spent this whole year studying film, doing nothing but watching tape on prospects, and he was down at the Senior Bowl. He had a nice little picture holding Doug's hand, and and they were cute. So you didn't see any pictures of Chip and Howie, that's for sure. So I mean, what more can I say? We just gotta hope that Howie learned from his many years of mistakes. Just hope.
Yeah. Well, at least the young kids that are in school right now, Howie Roseman is a perfect illustration. If you stay after school and you keep up with your math studies, you can be a salary cap guy in the NFL. So as long as you stay after school, you do your homework, and you take your vitamins, and you drink your chocolate milk, you should be good. All right. Let's move on to Jim Schwartz now. I'm tired of talking about how he's a dweeb. I don't like him. Jim Schwartz. I love this guy. I love it. I said this last week. I was so distraught and unhappy with the Doug Peterson hiring, but then once we brought in Jim Schwartz, I was like, all right, I'm starting to feel a little bit better now. And this guy is impressive. If you watched his interview last week after the Doug Peterson press conference, he was talking. There was a question about what's your defensive alignment going to be? Is it going to be 4-3 or is it going to be 3-4? And he answered the question. He didn't specify what they were going to be. He said that we are going to be an attacking defense that's going to get pressure with our front four, front three, whatever defensive alignment they're going to be in. They're going to pressure the quarterback, and I can't wait to watch this defense.
Oh, well, I mean, this defense, we're finally going to be going back to an attacking defense. The Jim Johnson days, that's what we're really trying to go back to here. And, well, that's key because, the 3 seasons of Billy Davis was it was a bit too much. I was fed up after 1 season, but the fact that we had him for 3 seasons and watch the same shit all over again, there's not many things that all Eagles fans agree on 100%. But, this is one of those things where I can probably say that 99.9% of Eagles fans are probably thrilled that Billy Davis is out of town. So, with that being said, I can also say that you probably have a pretty close percent, probably close to 99.9% too, that people are in favor of this Jim Schwartz being the defensive coordinator of the Eagles. Really, it was a key hire, and it was a key hire because Jim Schwartz has experience being a head coach. Now he didn't succeed as being a head coach of the Lions, but the fact that he has that experience and he kind of failed, now he gets to sit back and kind of look at the mistakes that he made as a head coach, and he can kind of help Doug Peterson, who is a first-time head coach now, and hopefully prevent him from making the same mistakes that Schwartz made.
Yeah, you could argue that the Jim Schwartz hiring was more important than the Doug Peterson hiring. I mean, and they go, like Mike said, I think they go hand in hand in how he has head coaching experience and can help Doug Peterson any of the rookie head coaching mistakes he might make. But as far as his defense goes, I mean, his defensive resume speaks for itself, and all the success he had. He's one of the top defenses with the Bills a few years ago before Rex Ryan went in there. I'm just so excited, to have, kind of like what we did with Jim Johnson when Andy Reid was a rookie coach. He hired the most important hire Andy Reid made, Jim Johnson, defensive coordinator. And now Doug Peterson, rookie coach, brings in Jim Schwartz, someone with a lot of experience. I'm just excited to see, disguised blitzes and just great, just scheming for against different offenses we're going to face. And, I think, honestly, our defense has top 10 potential easily and could get better than that. I mean, the sky's the limit with this defense. And with our personnel, we got a bunch of studs down there in the line. And I'm go back to 4-3, and DJ mentioned the wide 9, but he's not going to have any specific. We're going to change it up. It's going to be, we'll do some 4-3 sometimes. We'll do some wide 9. I mean, we'll change it up, and at least we don't have Jim Washburn as our defensive line coach. We just brought in Chris Wilson out of who used to coach Fletcher Cox in college too. So that was a good signing too, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I found the quote that from that press conference. It was actually in the locker room when he said this. But here it is. So I'd say if you want to label a defensive style or front there, it would be attack. It's not a read and react system. It's not a lateral line of scrimmage. We want to attack. We want to knock back. We want to put pressure on the quarterback. We want to create negative plays. So this little interview they had with him was very impressive, and I was, just delighted what was coming out of his mouth. Just pure awesomeness, really.
Yeah, well, the thing with Schwartz and why this whole signing was so key, and Peterson even said this himself. He pretty much said that he's handing over the keys to Schwartz as being the defensive coordinator. So pretty much Schwartz is running this entire defense, and he's probably going to be the guy that decides, what players they sign, what guys they draft on defense. And, that's really key because, the defensive side of the ball is not really Peterson's forte at all. So to have a guy like Schwartz in here who has plenty of experience in the league, for him to be able to just come in and take over the defense and hopefully turn it into a top 10 defense will be key. And I say this because I'll always say that one of Chip Kelly's biggest downfalls here was not having a really solid defensive coordinator. So the fact that Peterson looks like he has a very solid defensive coordinator, that could go a long way in the success as Peterson as the head coach.
And you can take it to the bank that the Eagles' defense will be a lot better than Chip Kelly's defense out in San Fran with Mr. O'Neal from the Browns taking over the defense over there. Surprised he didn't bring Billy Davis because, I don't know what their relationship's like. He always said he had confidence in him. Oh, yeah, well, why didn't you bring him over there, Chip, huh? Well, we had to execute our play, so,
Oh, man. Yeah, and another quote from Schwartz. This is talking about, kind of play calling and getting pressure on the quarterback. If you can generate rush without blitzing, it really gives you an advantage as a play caller. There's nothing worse as a defensive play caller than knowing you have to blitz to get pressure on the quarterback. I've never labeled myself as a wide 9 guy. There's 32 teams in the league that line up in a wide 9 at some time or another. So, and that quote right there, the last part, because when people initially heard of the hiring, they were assuming that we'd become a wide 9 defense again, and That's not the case. They are, we're not a defense built to be wide nine. Our linebackers are not big enough to play wide nine. And even when Jim was in Buffalo, they didn't use a lot of wide nine. It was more, kind of 4-3 base stuff. They didn't play a lot of wide nine. Personnel didn't really fit it there. So, that's just all I got to say about that little myth that we're going to be wide nine. No, it's not going to happen that way. The other thing I wanted to say about Schwartz, let's see. Oh, well, you guys have kind of said this already, but just the way Doug Peterson is really this staff that he's putting together, it's pretty impressive considering he's a rookie coach. He's aligning himself with kind of veteran guys like a Jim Schwartz. Not crazy about the Frank Reich thing, but at least he has some experience play calling. It's a wide and diverse staff. It's a lot like what Andy used to do, to be honest. So a lot of the same characteristics from Andy's regime are now coming to fruition here. We can only hope that the same success follows, because if you look at 1999-2000 when McNabb was first, second year in the league, we were a defensive team that was very slow and methodical on offense. We were very conservative on offense. If you remember 1999-2000, it seemed like half of our pass plays went to Deuce Staley. So it was very conservative, a lot of shit to the tight ends, not a lot of vertical stuff down the field. It was play defense, run the ball, be conservative on offense, move the chains, possess the ball, and that's how we played, and that's what this team's looking like.
Yeah, very much so. And the other thing with Schwartz that I'll say is I love the passion that he brings, and I think that's key because, with Billy Davis, it was like having a tree as a defensive coordinator. The guy just didn't show any emotion on the sideline, and he had no connection to Philadelphia at all. He just didn't even care about his defense. He would just go up to the podium and just answer questions, no emotion. It just so frustrating seeing that season after season. So to be able to finally get a guy in here that might be similar to a Jim Johnson type of personality, that's also very key. And you're talking about the staff in whole here, and well, I was very skeptical about the Peterson hiring at first, but I said I'm going to give him a chance, and I said the biggest thing for Peterson is going to be assembling a good coaching staff. And right now, the coaching staff that he assembled, starting here, we're not even at the Super Bowl yet, so, we can't judge anything yet. But from the guys on a piece of paper, the staff that he has, it seems like that he's assembled a pretty good staff.
Yeah, we all said that was key, and I think he's done a great job getting the staff together. Another thing about Schwartz, and like Mike said, his personality is so fit for Philadelphia. He's a fiery guy. He's emotional. You saw what he did. He wanted to rip Jim Harbaugh's head off after that one game in 2011 when he was the Lions played the Niners and they lost in the last minute. Oh my God! Jim Harbaugh hit him hard on the side with a hard handshake. Schwartz looked at him like, "He's really, dude," and he starts taking off after him and had to get separated. Like, that's great. He knows what it's like to be in a blue-collar town. You obviously hear from the fan base how fired up everybody is and excited that Jim Schwartz is our D coordinator, us three included. So it's definitely exciting to have him. And as far as the rest of our coaching staff, I'll say something about Frank Reich. Another thing I like about him is he played quarterback in this league just like Peterson. He's got experience. So, he had that huge comeback with the Bills back in the playoffs in the 90s. That was like his shining moment of his career. Yeah. But, I just like that, that they both played in the NFL. They both play the quarterback position, the most important position on the field. And, they both have some experience calling plays now, and we found out Doug did and Frank did. So, I like that. I kind of like that tandem. And then, Deuce has the running back, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Talk to Deuce. Talk to him. I got a question for you guys. All right, so just picture the first training camp practice, and Kiko Alonso starts strutting onto the field in his belly shirt. Will Jim Schwartz make him go back to the locker room and change and put on something that fits? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, there's no question about it. Schwartz is definitely making them go back to the locker room and switching that outfit. And he's going to do that because, well, that Howie Roseman is going to be hiding in the bushes with his binoculars trying to get a good look at, Alonzo's, stomach there and his great muscles. So, you got to watch out for Roseman, man. Never know where you're going to find that guy.
Oh, man, Schwartz would go to the offensive side of the ball, grab Jason Peters and say, hey, Jason, do me a favor. Go take Kiko Alonso and pile drive his head into the ground until he goes and stops being such a pansy. Kiko, man, I hope Jim can straighten him out. He was on the Bills when Schwartz was a D coordinator there, but unfortunately Kiko was out the whole year with the ACL injury. So, we all know how bad of a year Kiko had. He made one play the entire year. It was week 1, and it was a nice little interception in the end zone. But that was it. That's all he did. The rest of the time he hid behind blockers and didn't want to get, he just liked getting blocked. He liked hugging, offensive linemen and not going after the ball carrier. So, hopefully Schwartz can turn him around, and hopefully he was just kind of ailing all year because of the knee, and he has time to get healthy now.
Yeah, and even when thinking about the contrast in personalities of a Doug Peterson and Jim Schwartz, it's perfect, really, because Jim Schwartz he's an asshole. He's fiery. He's gonna yell at his players. Then you got Doug, and he's more kind of laid back, and he's really more engaging, kind of happy all the time, and Jim's just angry all the time, and I love it.
Yeah, no, well, and then you look at the other guys on the staff too, and I've kind of watched, some videos here and there a lot on them and how they talk and everything. You can kind of get an idea of their personality, and everyone kind of has a different type of personality, and that's really key. And what I get this sense of from the Eagles, and with them making Peterson the head coach, and the way that they've assembled the coaching staff. This is really going to be a collaborative effort the entire way. Yes, Peterson is going to be officially named the head coach of the team, and he's going to run the show, but he's got a bunch of guys under him with a lot of experience in this league that are going to guide the way for him.
Okay, Jeffrey Lurie, using the collaborative, but I agree. Yes, front office is collaborative, and also the coaching staff, and it's good for Doug because he is a rookie head coach. He needs all the help he can get with all these guys with all this experience, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah. All right, just to kind of run down a little bit further Jim Schwartz's defensive coordinator career. From 2001 to 2008, he was with Tennessee. His first 6 years or so as defensive coordinator actually weren't too hot. In 2006, his defense finished dead last in the NFL in overall yards and 34st in points allowed. 2007 was the year when Tennessee really started to kind of put everything together. I believe they started 2007 9-0, if I remember that correctly. Defense was very, very good, and then shortly thereafter, I believe 2008, he went and started coaching at Detroit, and he came the year immediately following the 2008 team that went 0-16. So there was only one way up, and that was up for Jimmy. His defense has struggled there in Detroit, but not a lot of talent there, so it's kind of hard to get a good judgment on him in Detroit. But then what he did in Buffalo was pretty amazing. I mean, 2 years ago he was in Buffalo. His defense finished first in sacks. I believe they were fourth in points allowed, and the reason why you can recognize that as being a great year. Look at what Rex Ryan did with the same defense this year. It wasn't really close to putting up the same numbers as Jim Schwartz did. So, pretty nice resume there. Struggled early on, but when he struggled early on, he was a young guy, kind of like what Sean McDermott was when he started here in Philadelphia. So he got experience, and he got he's a wizard on defense. I'll give him that. He's only 50. He's got all that experience, and he's only 50. So, yeah, he's awesome.
I like that term, wizard. I like that. That's a good term because it's different than genius. Chip Kelly came here, and everyone was like, oh, he's an offensive genius. So everyone had these, all these thoughts in their mind about how we're going to be scoring like 50 points a game, and it's going to be insane. So wizard is better. It sounds a lot better than genius. So if Schwartz fails, it's better than, if he fails as a wizard.
He just all he's got to do is just go to Hogwarts, take his wand, and just put the guys all in a great position, and it'll be like magic. Poof, we'll have a top 5 defense with Schwartz. May the Schwartz be with you.
There you go. May the Schwartz be with us. Always, always. And please let us have a Super Bowl just once. Just once. May the Force be with us.
Be nice, but after watching these, the AFC and the NFC Championship game, boy, I'll tell you what, defense still prevails in this league. Everyone, tries to go to these high-powered offense, try to score all these points, but I mean, you look at how the Broncos defensive line, with Von Miller and Marcus Ware, the way that they just dominated that game against the Patriots, and then you look at the Panthers and you look at their linebackers with Kuechly and Thomas Davis. It just shows you how defense is still so key in this league. And I mean, you can shut down a high-powered offense if you can come up with a great defense. So having Schwartz here, it's key.
Yeah, as the saying goes, defense wins championships, and that's the Super Bowl this year. It seems that's going to be the case. I see a scrappy, low-scoring game. It should be a good one though. And all those names Mike mentioned, I mean, these are some real studs, some of the best in the NFL on their respective defenses. You got Kuechly, Von Miller, Marcus Ware, all those guys, Thomas Davis. So you do need the talent, as well as the good D coordinator and the scheme, which I think we have. I think we have both. We have the studs on the D line, and I like our linebackers. I love Jordan Hicks. I just hope he can stay healthy. I think he's the next Mufasa on our defense, and the front seven, which we do have a lot of skill there, will take a lot of if Schwartz uses them correctly, which I believe he will take a lot of pressure off our secondary, and because that's always been kind of a weak point of ours the past few years. I mean, we brought in Maxwell, but I don't think he had a great year. Rowe's still only going into his second year, so and we're probably going to lose Walter Thurman, so we got to take some pressure off these guys.
Yeah. Trying to think, do we move on? We're about like 40 minutes in, so I think I'll save some Carson Wentz and Sam Bradford stuff for the next show.
Yeah, that's actually, I was going to say, that's a topic that probably gets its own show because there's so much that goes into that quarterback position right now and just so many different options. So we'll save that for a whole show for probably next week.
There you go.
And the Senior Bowl's this weekend too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll happen, and then.
Dude, I'm a loser. I watch all the practices. I'm serious. Like they're all on my DVR right now. Because dude, I love the the war in the trenches. They'll show like the one-on-one matchups with the guard going up against the D tackle, or the DN going up against the tackle, or the guard going up against the D tackle, like the center going up against the nose tackle. It's awesome stuff. I love it. And they'll have like the one-on-one drills where the running back will go against the linebacker. You'll have the cornerback drills going up against the wide receiver. I love this stuff. Now I don't watch the combine, but I do watch the Senior Bowl stuff, and it's awesome.
Yeah, no, the Senior Bowl is definitely a good way to get a little bit of a scouting report on some of these guys, and especially with us this year, you're talking about the trenches there, and we obviously need some help along that offensive line. So the key, if you watch a Senior Bowl, well, obviously everybody's going to be watching Carson Wentz, but besides that, check out the line and check out the guards, because we really need some guards, and then possibly a tackle, but definitely guards.
Yeah, I hope we draft multiple offensive linemen, and I think our 2 third-round picks are a great time to do it. I think there'll be some value there. And Wentz is the big name that's skyrocketing through up draft boards, talking top 5, easily top 10 now, and it's like man, I've just been reading up on him. He seems pretty impressive. So I'm anxious to see what happens with Bradford and the draft. The draft is awesome. I can't wait for April.
Yeah. The Wentz thing, all of a sudden, it's crazy because I'll just say this real quick. Because I wanted to trade down the draft. I wanted to take Wentz and accumulate more draft picks. Well, now the way he's skyrocketing up the boards, he may not even make it to 13. So it's insane. I guess people now are starting to agree with us that Wentz is better than Paxton Lynch. That's what it seems like. Because I haven't been on the Lynch train at all. I think he stinks. I think he's a bust.
Yeah, the way I look at this draft is if the Eagles have to draft a quarterback, I'm going Goff or Wentz. Can't get those 2 guys. I really don't want to touch anyone else in this draft. I would rather wait till next year. But yeah, this topic is so in depth. We'll really give a scouting report on Wentz next week after we watch the Senior Bowl and everything, and go into all the details with what could possibly happen.
Yeah, that'll definitely be fun. And I agree. Those are the only two quarterbacks I would touch. If they're not there, 13, then that probably means one of the top 3 linemen moved back a little bit, offensive linemen, so maybe we can grab one of those guys.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be very, very interesting next couple of months when it comes to the quarterback position. Do we keep Bradford? Do we franchise him? Do we let him go? Who knows? The initial offer from the Bradford camp, they asked for $25 million a season, which is just outrageous. He is not in the same class as Aaron Rodgers, so that's what Aaron Rodgers is making. And speaking of $25 million, this is completely off topic, but Ndamukong Suh, well, the Miami Dolphins want to restructure his contract already. His cap hit for this year is $28.6 million. Jesus.
Yeah, he didn't live up to that this year, so I can see why they would want to redo that contract. Yeah, he could sign an outrageous contract there with the Dolphins. So, yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy. I think it was over $100 million deal, right? I don't know how much was guaranteed, but probably at least half of it, 50, 60 million.
Yeah, highest defensive player ever, I believe. So, there you go. Just another example of once you get paid, you kind of lose that motivation. Don't you, Albert? I remember you, Mr. Albert. Yeah. Good thing, he's not here in Philadelphia. Jesus. Because he's got Jim Schwartz here. That was his boy.
Yeah.
So, all right. I guess this is final thoughts time. It's becoming quiet here at the Bitter Bird Show, so we'll just say one final thing and we'll go on to our lives.
Yeah, so we haven't really had a show since the Chip Kelly press conference in San Francisco, which actually turned out to be quite funny because some information came up during the press conference that Chip Kelly has a dog, and well, the Philadelphia media failed to get that out of Chip Kelly. And it was 3 years here in Philly. The Philly media did not get it out of him. He actually has a golden retriever named Henry, and well, Henry became great friends with the 49ers general manager and Trent Baalke. So Baalke was actually patting Chip's dog for about 2 hours during the interview. And, now you can see why Chip went to the 49ers. It all makes sense. And there's probably a reason why, Roseman never saw Chip's dog.
Well, you all know how I feel about Chip Kelly.
You love him. Your favorite, like ever.
But I will not touch Chip's Henry to save my life. So he can keep him. Final thoughts. I'm really happy with what we did sign in Ertz and Celek. I hope we can get other contracts worked out too, like Vinny Curry, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson. I want to lock up these young core guys for our team. I'm excited to see what happens with the Senior Bowl and look forward to our show next week.
Yeah. I saw just a little bit of the Senior Bowl practices today. I saw Wentz throw a couple balls, and well, the one that immediately stands out for me is he threw a deep out, and I love quarterbacks who have easy velocity that just get it out there so effortlessly. And he threw the ball like 15 yards on a line, on a P, right on the money, and that's an NFL throw. The deep out is an NFL throw, and he threw it to perfection in one stupid Senior Bowl practice. So that is my final thought. Carson Wentz is going to be a stud because he had a good throw in a Senior Bowl practice.
There you go.
Yeah.
He didn't have an NFL defensive player in his face hunting him down, though. So,
He had a
never
nice
know.
clean pocket. He had a nice clean pocket to throw from.
Yeah.
So,
You don't get those often in the NFL. Everything's a lot faster.
Yeah.
He did go to North Dakota State, an FCS school, not even.
I've got
not
too
even.
much material that I'm saving for next week.
Yeah. So
I've been watching.
We'll see. I mean, he's a good prospect for sure.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, we're out of here. I'm Adrian Fedke, Mike Owens, Jeremy Burton. I would also like to thank Pug Peterson for becoming our new mascot. Thank you, Mr. Peterson. With that being said, we are out of here. Later.
See.
Peace.